Genesis chapter 4, verse number 1. And Adam knew his wife, and in the Bible the word know is to have sexual intercourse. He knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. Now there's a couple of good theories about this. God had told her that someday the seed of the woman's going to bruise the head of the seed of the serpent. We talked about that last night. And the seed of the serpent's going to bruise the head of the seed of the woman, Genesis 3:15. She probably thought, wow, this is the one God promised me. This is the chosen one. And it was not. It turned out to be 4,000 years later when Jesus came. But she said, I've gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel. Now there's two theories about this. One conception, and she had twins, Cain and Abel. They were twins. I can't prove that, but that's one. Some people believe that. I wouldn't. I'm careful, and I think everybody should be. If the Bible isn't clear, don't be dogmatic and make some big doctrine out of something that you can't prove. So it may be twins, but that's not proof that it was. Okay. She again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. Oh, hang on, get this over here. There. And in process of time, it came to pass. That's cool. In the Bible, it never comes to stay. Everything comes to pass. You got problems, troubles, trials in your life, it'll come to pass. It'll be fine. Someday you'll look back and say, wow, it's over now. Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. Now, there's no thing I can see in there that says God told him to do this. He just decided, I want to bring something to the Lord. Abel also, he brought of the firstlings of his flock. Cain brought of the fruit of the ground. Abel brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and his offering he had not respect. And this is the start of the only two religions in the world, Cain and Abel. Cain brought his fruit. God, look what I did for you. You better accept me. You better forgive me. You better take me because of what I did. And most religions in the world are in the Cain category. They're trying to please God and get to God by what they do. Abel brought a lamb, and God had respect to Abel and did not have respect to Cain. God said, Cain, not interested. Yeah, but look how hard I worked. Many people are going to be so shocked judgment day. Many shall say unto me in that day, Lord, Lord, did we not do all these wonderful works and cast out demons and all this stuff? He's going to say, I never knew you. He's not going to say, I knew you and forgot. No, I never knew you. They were never, many people act like Christians, talk like Christians. My preacher used to say, don't act like a Christian, be one. Quit acting like one. Be one. So if you're in the Cain category, you're not sure you're going to heaven because you're busy trusting God with your works, well, knock it off. Bring the suitable sacrifice. That's Jesus Christ. You believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and thou shalt be saved. And thy house, Acts 16, 31, 31, somewhere in there. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. Countenance means the look on his face. Oh, he's discouraged. His countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth? Here's the first of the W questions from God. Why? Good question to ask yourself sometime. Why do I feel like this? Why am I upset? Why? It's a good question to ask. Why am I mad at this person? Why am I not doing this? Why? That's a good question. Why art thou wroth or angry? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shall not be accepted. I think God is saying, hey, Cain, it's not too late. You know it has to be a blood sacrifice. I mean, your daddy told you that because he made fig leaf aprons and I made them coats out of skins, and I told Adam and Eve, has to be blood, and you knew that. Why are you bringing fruit? You can't get blood out of a turnip, which is where the expression comes from. If you do well, shalt thou not be accepted? I think he's saying, Cain, it's not too late. You can still go get a lamb and offer the right sacrifice. And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. Strange verse. I've never completely understood it. Most Bible scholars and most textbooks or commentaries will say that means there's a lamb laying right over by the door. I don't know that that's what it means, but that's one option, okay? And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. It's interesting. He talked with him and then killed him. Does that mean he was trying to make him think everything's okay, not, so he can stab him in the back? Maybe. I know people like that. They can pretend like they're your friend for a long time. Do you have the book Peace Child? Is it a missionary book over there? See if it's up above Josiah's head there. Peace Child. It's a yellow book. A story Don Richardson wrote. He wrote 3 books that I know of, maybe more. Missionary to Papua New Guinea. The story Peace Child is just absolutely fabulous. He goes to this island, Don does, and he's a doctor, missionary, going to witness to these people. It's a yellow paperback about 5/8 of an inch thick. Fabulous book. Anyway, the two tribes in this jungle are fighting each other all the time. And in their culture, whoever can be the most treacherous is the hero. So you pretend like you're somebody's best friend, and you butter them up for 3 weeks or 6 weeks. You get them to come to your house for dinner, and while they're sitting there eating their dinner, all your friends surround him to kill him. And they love the look of terror on the guy's face when he realizes, oh no, I've been caught. Because in their culture, that's extremely important. Can you pretend like you're their friend and then stab him in the back? So here's this missionary. These 2 tribes are fighting each other all the time, always deceitful with each other. They live, down the river from each other. And he's building a mission compound. And he's trying to tell them about Jesus and the gospel. He learns their language, and they're not interested. But if they want to get the stone tool, or get the steel tools from him, the steel machete instead of a stone axe, they got to come to the Bible study. So they're listening there. And he's telling them through the Bible, and they're nodding, okay, oh, we got it. Until he gets to the story of Judas. Judas was one of Jesus' disciples for a long time. Over 1.5 years. Some people say 3 years. I don't know where they get that. But and then Judas betrayed him and killed him. And they said, oh, white man, now we understand. Judas is the hero. I'm serious. The book is fabulous, Peace Child. And the missionary's pulling his hair out. Lord, I've been here for 3 years. I learned this stupid language. I learned their crazy culture. I've been eating bugs and everything else for 3 years. And now they think Judas is the hero. He calls all the men together the next day in the longhouse. He said, guys, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I'm going somewhere else. You don't want what I got. They said, oh, no, white man, we want you. We need you here because you bring us, steel tools, steel hatchets, and a steel needle. It's hard to sew clothes with a rock, And the stuff that we take for granted, they think is just incredible, They said, we'll make peace. He said, how are you guys going to make peace? You 2 tribes have been fighting for hundreds of years. You don't even know why you're fighting. You just hate each other. They said, no, tomorrow we'll make peace. So by then, both villages had moved onto the island to help him build this hospital thing he's building, and they got their huts built up high on stilts because it rains all the time. And next morning, missionary looks out and there's nobody there. He thought, well, that's strange. They're usually out chasing the chickens or something, and nobody there. Pretty soon he hears a woman screaming up in her house, no, 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 not my baby, not my baby. And a door opens and a big, tall, lanky black guy, none of them wear any clothes whatsoever, And he's got holding this little baby, about 6 months old, and his wife is coming after him. He pushes her back in the house, and he's crying like crazy, and he climbs down the ladder. And then everybody comes out of their houses, and they're in the clearing. And this guy walks across with his baby and hands him to a man from the other tribe, one of the enemy. And somebody from that tribe hands a baby to this tribe. They switch kids. And the missionary is talking to his informer, who's helping him learn the language and the culture. He said, what's going on here? They said, you would never understand. You're just a white man. He said, please, try to explain. What's going on? He said, well, we're trading babies. That's the peace child. We've got one of their kids, and they've got one of our kids, and now we're not allowed to fight because we have a peace child. And he said, aren't they just going to kill it and eat it? Oh, no, no, no. It's okay to kill everybody else and eat them, but you never kill a peace child. Man, you're the lowest that's as low as you get to killing a peace child. And the Lord's yelling at him, hey, Don, pay attention. There's the key to reach these folks. Whoa. He has his next Bible study and says, hey, God sent his son to bring peace, to be the peace child. Judas betrayed him. Oh, wow, he's a bad man. They finally got the message using that key of the peace child. And that led him to research on what other keys are left in cultures to reach them. And the story, I won't spoil it for you now, but there's lots of them. The missionaries have found down through the years where they've got something just waiting in their culture. Somebody, please come tell me. They're ready. But there's 2 religions, Cain and Abel. And Cain brought his fruit, his vegetables. God wouldn't take it. But all through history, people have known it takes an offering. It takes a sacrifice, a blood sacrifice. Even in pagan cultures, they often sacrifice a goat to their gods or something. Where do they get this idea? the Inca, not the Inca, who are the ones that built the big step pyramids in Mexico and Aztecs, yeah. They would bring slaves in there and sacrifice them and throw them down the steps, blood running down the steps. They knew it had to be blood. They got it all scrambled up, but somehow they knew there has to be blood to appease the gods. Now, that's what we got here from Cain and Abel. Okay. He talked with him, pretended like he's his friend, and then rose up and killed him. You ever been stabbed in the back? Gee whiz. Many times for me, from people you never dreamed would do it. Like, what happened here? And the Lord said to Cain, where is Abel thy brother? Here's the next W question. Why are you angry? And where's your brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? That's an expression we still use today. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, what? Here's the next W question. What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. See, God was not looking for information. He's looking for a confession. Looking for a confession. And verse 11. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. Here's your curse, Cain. Now you're going to have to farm, and the ground's not going to bring forth like it used to. And Dave, it don't bring forth like it used to. And you're going to have to be a fugitive and a vagabond. And Cain said to the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. How many people in hell are saying that right now? Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, and it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. Atheists will say, oh, there's nobody out there. Hold on a minute. How old was Cain when he killed Abel? Anybody got an idea? We don't know. Doesn't say. They're old enough to have their own job. One's taking care of sheep, one's raising crops, so let's assume they're in their 20s or 30s. How many more kids could Adam and Eve have by then? 20 or 30? I mean, you got the whole world. So he's worried one of his brothers or sisters is going to kill him, I think, okay? And the Lord said to him, wherefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain. Now, what is this mark on Cain? Very controversial. Lest any finding him should kill him. So Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. What is this mark? Well, the Mormon church, they have always taught that Cain turned black. I don't believe that for 1 second. But that's what I've never met a black man. I've met some dark brown ones. Never met a black one. This is black, okay? I've never met a white man either. Okay, this is white. I am not white, okay? But anyway, there's different shades of brown. Like the Mississippi bus driver, did I tell you that one? They were arguing back first days of, they made laws you can't segregate, you know, so the blacks and whites are arguing on his bus. And he finally stopped the bus. He said, everybody get out. Everybody off my bus, off. He goes out to the crowd in the grass. He said, now listen, from now on, nobody's black, nobody's white. No more arguing on my bus. You got it? You're all green. Everybody is green. Now I want you to get back on the bus, and all you dark green go to the back, and you light green can sit at the front. That's a joke, Hannah. Okay. Anyway, here's the official Mormon doctrine from Bruce McConkie, 1966. He's an apostle in the Mormon church. He said, Negroes in this life are denied the priesthood. Under no circumstances can they hold this delegation of authority from the Almighty. According to Abraham 1:20-27. The gospel message of salvation is not carried affirmatively to them. They can't be saved. Negroes are not equal with other races, he says, where the receipt of certain spiritual blessings are concerned, particularly the priesthood and the temple blessings that flow therefrom. But this inequality is not of man's origin. It is the Lord's doing. It is based on his eternal laws of justice and grows out of this lack of spiritual valiance of those in their first estate. They teach, the Mormons do, God in heaven has thousands of wives and produces the spirit. The couple on earth only produces the body. As the baby's born, it gets a spirit from God. If it's a good spirit baby, it gets a white-skinned body. If it's a bad spirit baby, it gets a black-skinned body. That is what they teach. Okay? However, in a broad sense, caste systems have their root and origin in the gospel itself. And when they operate according to the divine decree, the resultant restrictions and segregation are right and proper and have the approval of the Lord. To illustrate, Cain, Ham, and the whole Negro race have been cursed with black skin, the mark of Cain. This is official Mormon doctrine. It was for centuries. And they might have changed it now when they found out those guys can play basketball. Man, we need them at Brigham Young. Or Brigham Young, whatever it is. So they can be identified as a cast apart, a people with whom the other descendants of Adam should not intermarry. Apostle Mark Peterson said, "If there's one drop of Negro blood in my children, as I have read to you, they receive the curse." Shall I tell you the law of God in regard to the African race? This is Brigham Young. If the white man who belongs to the chosen seed mixes his blood with the seed of Cain, the penalty under the law of God is death on the spot. This will always be so. First Nephi. She was exceeding fair and white. They became a dark and loathsome and a filthy people, full of idleness. They were white and exceeding fair. There are dozens of verses throughout the Book of Mormon, which I have right here. Dozens of verses in here about how wonderful it is to be white and how evil it is to be black. We could talk about that. The curse came upon their skins. The skins of the Lamanites were dark according to the mark which was set upon their fathers, which was a curse. Alma 3. Set a mark on them that they and their seed may be separated from thee and thy seed. Their curse was taken from them, and their skin became white, like unto the Nephites, became exceeding fair. We can go all day on the different verses if you'd like to get into that study. There are some great books to reach Mormon. This one is fabulous. The Secret History of the Mormon Church. You would not believe the stuff they're hiding in their closets. Okay, if you want to, this is my library, by the way. If you want to come in and read it in here, come on in, brother. You can use it, but don't take them out of here. This book, do we have this one, Answers to My Mormon Friends? We sell that one, $12. It's excellent. This is the toned down version if you want to Answers to My Mormon. Same thing, only different cover now, right? Same, I think, newer. I don't know which is the new one. This one probably. Yeah, okay. Anyway, it's very calm, sweet, kind, trying to win him to the Lord, which you ought to do. Mormonism, a way that seemeth right. I got excited about learning about different religions for a long time ago, and I read all kinds of books. This one, she was a Mormon for years and years, and it's a calm grandma explaining to the grandkids why it's wrong. A very gentle approach to them. Mormonism, Mama and Me, Thelma Greer. I don't know if it's still available or not. Let's see, Calvary Missionary Press, Tucson, Arizona. If you want to get that. I got all kinds of books on them. Let's see. Mormonism, The Matrix, and Me. This lady was Tracy Mormon for years and got born again Christian. Fabulous book. Okay, anyway. They say that Cain became the first black man. That is baloney, in my humble, totally unbiased opinion. Joseph Smith said, "I see no faults in the church, and therefore let me be resurrected with the saints, whether I ascend to heaven or descend to hell, or go to any other place. And if we go to hell, we shall turn the devils out of doors and make a heaven of it. Where this people are, there is good society. What do we care where we are, if the society be good?" That's Joseph Smith, the guy that they think was a prophet, who had his seer stone where he tricked people out of their money. God made Aaron to be the mouthpiece for the children of Israel, and he will make me to be God to you in his stead. And if you don't like it, you must lump it. Joseph Smith, their prophet. Joseph Smith said there are men living on the moon who dress like Quakers and live to be nearly 1,000 years old. Since he's wrong about the moon, is it safe to trust him regarding the way to heaven? I don't think so. Official doctrine of the Mormon Church, exaltation is eternal life, the kind of life God lives. He's a creator. We can become gods, capital G, like our Heavenly Father. This is exaltation. That is what they teach. You get to be God and start your own universe. There are some great books on Mormonism if you want to reach. Okay, and I could go for days on the topic. Lucy Mack Smith, one of Joseph's wives, she said Joseph Smith and his progenitors, page 120, she tells of an incident where her son fought off 3 attackers while running at the top of his speed through the woods for 3 miles with the gold plates tucked under his arm. Now, he was told that the angel showed him where to find these gold plates in the mountain in New York. And he had these gold plates. The bottom 2/3 of them had a band around him. He never got to open them. The top third was loose leaf on a giant 3-ring binder, like this, next to a cell phone for size. He gave the dimensions of them, or his wife gave the dimensions, 9 1/4 by something, I forget. But they said it was solid gold. you're an engineer, both of you guys. Gold is, what's the specific gravity of gold? I forgot. Lead is 11.9. Lead is, what, 11.9 to 1? And, well, they made some out of, the gold plates would have weighed about 230 pounds. He ran 3 miles with this under one arm and knocked 3 guys down while he's running with it. Every year, some church up in New York has a Joseph Smith marathon where they get all the bodybuilders to come in there. Who can even walk with 230 pounds under one arm, let alone run for 3 miles? It's absolute insanity. They believe this stuff. There never were any golden plates. He lied to you. Okay? Lied to you. There weren't any golden plates. Why did Joseph try to join the Methodist Church in 1928 when back in 1920 the Lord told him, don't join any of them? Anyway, the mark of Cain is not turning black. I don't know what it is. But whatever it was, listen carefully. All of Cain's descendants died in the flood. It was the next son, Seth, who had the descendants that led to Noah. So it's not common sense to say Cain became the first black man. Not common sense at all. Anyway, that's what they believe. So the Lord said to him, "Wherefore whoso slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife." Who's his wife? One of his sisters. They say, well, it's incest. Yeah, it is today. By the way, someone sent me an article about the incredible problems the Muslims are having, because they're, for generations, have been marrying first cousins. It is unreal, the health problems and the IQ problems they have. No wonder they can find people to go out there and blow themselves up. Hey, put this on and go blow it. Oh, okay. They've been marrying first cousins. I mean, after all, Muhammad did it, so they can do it. Anyway, so he had to marry sisters. There were no laws against marrying sisters until Moses gave the law 2,500 years after the creation. Here's Adam and Eve. Here's the flood. Here is Abraham, who married his first cousin. Here is Moses, 2,500 years after the creation. God said in the book of Leviticus, no more marrying first cousins. But up until then, it was perfectly fine. There were no defective genes, and that's the problem with marrying close kin. You both have the same, everybody's got about 3,500 defective genes in the gene code. And if you marry somebody close kin, you're likely to line them up and something will go wrong, like 6 fingers or 6 toes or mentally retarded or something. That's why God said don't do that. Now, but it wasn't a problem when the race was pure. So who did he marry? He married one of his sisters. We're way over time here. Okay, we'll do some more on Genesis chapter 4 tomorrow night. And in Genesis 5, we're going to just read some of it and skip it, because there's a lot of names in there about this big that nobody can pronounce but Alexander Scorby. And so we're going to just read through that and then get into the flood story. Now, that's one of my favorite. All right, so if you have questions, you'd like to call us, 855-BIG-DINO, 855-BIG-DINO down here. And you can go to extension 3, and it'll come to my cell phone. It happens all day long. But if I can't answer, I won't answer. So don't leave a message. It won't do any good. Just call back and try again.